silence before opening kickoff.
Fans, the University of Virginia and Charlottesville communities were struck with an unspeakable tragedy in November as 3 student athletes on the Cavalier football team lost their lives, with 2 other students wounded. The Virginia Department of Athletics and Football Program shares your grief and appreciates the steadfast support from our friends and colleagues around the country. As we gather in Scott Stadium today for the first time since this tragic event, we honor those who were affected by this senseless tragedy, and we ask that the families, classmates, and entire community remain in your thoughts and prayers. Now, please join us in a moment of silence in memory of 3 young men who will carry forward with us forever. Lavelle Davis Jr., Devin Chandler, and Deshaun Perry.
What a powerful scene pregame here in Charlottesville, Virginia. Roddy, Kelsey, we were all on the field for this pregame. We were soaking up the emotions, trying to get a gauge of just what this game would feel like. And I think it really became real when we saw the family members of the victims of Lavelle Davis Jr., Devin Chandler, and Deshaun Perry in the end zone, taking a look at the names painted in the end zone, and then the players coming over, hugging family members. Kelsey, it felt like that was when it really got real before the game, feeling all the emotions.
Yeah, John, it did. I mean, you know that this is something that's on these guys' minds day in and day out. I will say on the way into the stadium, it was awesome to see the support as the fans lined their walk inside. And there were smiles as they walked into Scott Stadium. But that was definitely a moment where you really sank in even more, seeing the family members and getting to spend a little time with them. It's not just that. There's little things that they're going to continue to do. They've got helmet stickers on right now with all 3 of their fallen teammates' numbers, something that they will wear throughout the season to continue to honor them. And Roddy, it's just a different feeling as these guys have so much energy, and that feels like an even greater appreciation for life after everything that they've gone through and how resilient they found out that they are.
If you've listened to Tony Elliott or any of these coaches and players during this spring practice, the word gratitude was thrown out so often, and it can often be a word that we throw out flippantly, but you can feel there is a real true gratitude with this renewed sense of the ability and the privilege that they have to come out and take the field.
One guy who really feels privileged to be out there right now, the new quarterback for the white team, is Tony Muskett. He is the senior transfer from Monmouth University. And for Tony Muskett, he was a guy who was not here for the tragedy, but he said he wants to be here for any of his teammates, to be a shoulder to lean on, to talk to, and he has shown his leadership abilities so far this spring. 3rd and 8. Muskett throwing on the run. He's got his receiver, Malik Washington. Good run after the catch. A first down for the white team. Gain of 17.
One of the ways that Tony Muskett showed his leadership, John, as you just talked about, was by coming and just putting his head down and working, but also by forming a relationship. Formed a relationship with Malik Washington during the recruiting process. Malik Washington, a very good, productive transfer from Northwestern, and already that connection paying off.
First offensive drive for the white team. Here's Muskett looking to air it out downfield. He's got his man, J.R. Wilson. Get off me! Touchdown! Wilson, a 63-yard touchdown reception.
Well, the scouting report on Tony Muskett starts with one thing, and that's deep ball accuracy. This ball on the post is thrown perfectly to J.R. Wilson. And J.R. Wilson, one of a few receivers that have immense potential. 6'4", 220 pounds, and he just carries Tavon Kyle into the end zone, or falls off of him, and then carries Anthony Colandrea into the end zone. That connection and that run after catch, a great sign for anybody who roots for the Virginia Cavaliers.
Extra point by Will Bettridge is good. The longest pass play last season for Virginia was 64 yards. That was just a 63-yard touchdown connection. Opening drive for Tony Muskett. He is the guy who is competing for the starting job.
And that's good on good right there. Tavon Kyle's a guy who played a lot of ball. The corner played a lot of ball at Iowa State. Very experienced, but that was just a great play by J.R. Wilson. You can see the stats that Tony Muskett put up at Monmouth. The big question is, how does that translate to this level? But one thing that you don't have to worry about translating is the confidence that Tony Muskett has in himself.
Tony Muskett, if you're not familiar with him, this is what he did at Monmouth.
Yeah, the stats are there, but the deep balls that you'll see here, it's exactly what you just saw out on the field. Incredible touch, incredible trajectory on his deep balls, and that is something that I think bodes well for a receiving core that can be very big. I mean, you saw J.R. Wilson at 6'4". Malachi Fields is playing on the blue team today, number 8, also 6'4". But, I mean, that could have been in a Monmouth jersey. It would have looked the exact same, Kelsey.
Yeah, and you know, one of the other things you guys are talking about his career at Monmouth, it was great to talk with Coach Lamb, the quarterback's coach, about what he saw from when he was coaching at Gardner-Webb. And he said this is a guy who could just put on a show. He has a great pocket presence, and we saw him impress people already on that first drive, guys.
Well, you know who just impressed us there, Kelsey? The quarterback, Davis Lane, running down on special teams, blowing it up, making the tackle.
I thought orange jerseys meant no contact. Davis Lane says, no, sir. Going in there and hitting somebody.
Hey, you got to do whatever you can to make the team and get on the field.
Absolutely. What a play. It's a nice job.
Davis Lane, the sophomore from Lynchburg, Virginia. Let him know.
Now, when he gets in the game at quarterback, the defensive players will remind him, hey, you were hitting earlier. I don't know why we can't touch you now.
He's like, no, I got that orange on.
Exactly.
So Anthony Colandrea out for his second drive. Quick throw is completed to Malachi Fields. And Fields with a gain of 9 on first down.
There's that other 6'5" receiver we were talking about. Malachi Fields, they really missed him last year. Did a nice job in the spring and into the summer, and then injury kept him out until the last game that they played against Pitt, where he caught 5 balls for 58 yards and a touchdown, a great catch in the corner of the end zone. So I really missed his productivity. He's obviously got size and length as well. I think he could be poised for a big season.
On 2nd and 1, they go to the ground. A run up the gut. Good looking run by Xavier Brown, the sophomore from Lexington, Kentucky, picks up 7.
Mentioned that there's a mixture of guys on these teams. The blue team has mostly reserve offensive linemen, although I think there's a pretty good shot that Justice Johnson, the center on the blue team, will be one of the starting guards, but he is the backup center. And the white team mostly starting, or the reserve defensive lineman.
Xavier Brown got that first down. How about this? Colandrea showing he can move. He'll be touchdown after a gain of 4. Second drive for this freshman, Anthony Colandrea. What do you think?
I think he's looked incredibly poised. I mean, this is his first time in this stadium with fans in here, facing semi-live defense on the other side. They're live for everybody other than him, but he's looked very poised. He's been very accurate as well, John.
So after the run on first down, it brings up 2nd and 6 for the blue team. Back to the ground. Feeling out his blockers. That was Xavier Brown. And he'll be a yard short of that first down and bring up 3rd and short.
The blue team's ability to run the football has been impressive as well. You know, so many questions about this Virginia team are going to focus around the offensive line. Tony Elliott inherited a tough situation last year with the offensive line, tried to patch it together with young players and transfers. They seem in a lot better place this year with numbers and skill on that offensive line.
Mike Hollins is in at running back on 3rd and short. He gets the rock, pushes forward, and he does have enough for a first down.
It's a nice move, nifty little move in the backfield by Mike Hollins.
Everyone said he is quicker, he is shiftier, he is tougher to bring down. And Mike Hollins has a new lease on life, talked about just how grateful he is to have this opportunity to be back out here with contact 5 months after being shot and wounded.
It's amazing how his attitude during, he had to go to the coaches and say, Coach, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's get hit.
Colandrea, he's looking deep, airing it out into double coverage. Incomplete. Was looking deep from Malachi Fields. Aiden Ryan was there with a good D.
This Virginia team looks like it wants to push the ball down the field. That's Malachi Fields against Cohen King, the converted safety. It's a nice job by Aiden Ryan getting back over the top. With the 6'4" receiver, Malachi Fields, the coaching point to Colandrea is just going to be, hey, look, give him an opportunity to make it a jump ball because that's where he's got the advantage.
All right, so we did expect some weather today, and the rain is going to come down for the first time here at Scott Stadium. On 2nd and 10, pressured Colandrea, good throw over the middle. He'll find Ethan Davies again. Davies has been a good outlet for Colandrea, picking up 22 in the first down.
Check out this off-platform throw. Raining a little bit, he scrambles out to his right. Doesn't have a chance to get his feet set, throws back across his body, and it's an accurate toss. Some athleticism from the young quarterback.
I know Roddy just said it's raining a little bit. Kelsey, it looks like it's raining a little more than a little bit.
Just talking to me and you're not seeing me because I am, in fact, hiding under a tent right now. It just happened to be nearby, so I came because it was convenient. Got to protect the shoes. It is. It's actually coming down quite fast. I was talking to athletic director Dr. Carla Williams just a second ago. She's like, oh, I feel a few drops. And then all of a sudden it felt like it was pouring. Hopefully it moves quickly, you guys.
Seems like it's letting up, although that's easy for me to say.
It is easy. It's easy for you to say up there, nice in your warm, dry booth.
Fans are starting to scatter a little bit, get some cover, but no one's leaving the stadium. They know the importance of this day, getting back out onto the field. You know, one of the things about the quarterback, Anthony Colandrea, as a freshman, what's impressed some of the coaches is that he lives in the study room. Yeah. He watches all of his throws after practice. He goes, Tony Elliott said, before we're even done showering, he's watched all of his throws already.
Which is incredible for the maturity from a young player.
There's Colandrea slithering his way through that line. He picks up 6. It'll bring up 3rd and short. He's not coming in here as a guy who just wants to get reps. He is coming in here with the attitude of, I want to be the starting quarterback.
Which he should. I mean, whether or not it happens this year, he'll have a real good shot of it happening next year. So he should have that mentality.
Timeout on the field. We will step aside here in Charlottesville, Virginia. The blue team moving the ball down by 4 here in this first quarter. This was the scene on Wednesday, March 29th. The Virginia rowing team dedicated one of their boats to the life and memory of Devin Chandler, Lavelle Davis Jr., and Deshaun Perry, the 3 football players who lost their lives in the campus shooting last year. Just showing you how everyone is coming together here on the grounds. And for more of how this school is responding, let's send it over to Carla Williams, the athletic director, along with Kelsey Riggs.
Yeah, John, thanks so much. Honored to be standing here with Dr. Carla Williams, and we have seen the support from the community through all of this. We've seen the support that you have provided these coaches and student athletes and the fans here as well. Carla, to see everybody out here, these players back at Scott Stadium, what's the emotion like?
It's a lot, and you know, I had a moment before the game. I was sitting on the bench, and several of the players just came over, and you know, having a chance to see them and how resilient they are, and you know how much they've been through and how much they care about each other and support each other. It's just been awesome to see. I'm so proud of Coach Elliott and the staff, not just the coaches, but our support staff. Everyone has been through a lot, but being able to be out here on the field today for this is amazing, and to have some of the families here with us today also is pretty special. I
know that is something that is special, and the families will be people that you continue to honor and to incorporate in everything that you do moving forward. And you mentioned Tony Elliott and what he has meant. His leadership, I know, is something that we knew coming into this what he would be as a football coach, but have him leading you guys through all of that has happened the last 5 months. What has that been like?
So we never know why we go through tough times, why we go through adversity, but I do believe that the challenges that Tony had growing up he was prepared to help us through this. And, you know, it's good for him because he's a first-time head coach. It was a rough first year on the field, and then the tragedy just shook us all to the core. But he emerged as a leader for us, for our program, and that's what we expected. And he's done a great job at that.
And we're seeing some bright spots already with this team as they're out here playing football, which is so exciting. But also, this time next year, we'll likely be talking from potentially a new place than the day before. Tell me how construction is going.
It looks great. I mean, to see the steel come up out of the ground and knowing that we'll be moving into that facility this time next spring is amazing. The players are excited. The coaches are excited. And so look at Mike Hollins. I mean, just think about that. I mean, he maybe shouldn't even be playing football, but he's just remarkable. He's a remarkable human being. His family is here. He's got great mom and dad, grandma, sister. I mean, we're just so proud of him. And, you know, everything that we can do to support these guys and their families, we're doing it because they deserve it.
I know that he is someone that you have gotten to know on a much more personal level now, Mike Hollins, after everything that he has experienced. And we talked to Coach Elliott about what does he want people who are watching to know about Mike and about these players. What do you think it's important that the community watching knows about Virginia football and all of Charlottesville?
You know, I think it's important to know that they are people. You know, they are young men, they are students, they are sons and brothers and nephews and grandsons before they are football players. Football is what they do, it's not who they are. And I think Mike is a great example of that.
They are very lucky to have Coach Elliott as well as you leading the way. We appreciate the time. It is the end of the first quarter. We will have more football for you on the other side of this break. Carla, thank you.
Oh, one second. I taught him a quarterback. Look, man, hey, you can't play like you got an orange jersey on, right? You know what I'm saying? So you're able to make a couple plays, but you got to be smart. So we took 2 sacks right there in the red zone, right? So now we're kicking, you know, an even further field goal, right? When we had already crossed the 25, so just got to be smart right there. Pre-snap on the naked, right? And then the other one, just get it away, right?
That is awesome access. Welcome back to the Virginia Spring Game. John Schriffen alongside Roddy Jones, Kelsey Riggs. Please be joined by Virginia head coach Tony Elliott. And coach, you just had some words for your freshman quarterback, Anthony Colandrea. How do you think he's done so far this first game?
I've been thoroughly impressed. Still playing like he has the protective colored jersey on, but he's been managing the offense. He's been putting the ball where it needs to be. Even throwing the ball down the field. All right, no good. That's a big play right there. Hold on. Hey, that's a good job, Wayne. Turnover. But no, he's been doing really, really well, from my opinion.
And now we get a chance to see Tony Muskett again, who we've seen very briefly.
I know, 3 plays, touchdown.
but the explosive play, I mean, that was something that you wanted more of last year.
No question.
The throw to J.R. Wilson. What have you thought about Tony Muskett? And then J.R. Wilson on the other side, that was big man ball.
Big man ball, and, you know, Tony's just got a lot of experience coming from Monmouth and very cool, collective, has really grasped the offense, understands where to go with the ball, and just has a natural leadership ability to him.
Coach, tell us a little bit more about that leadership, because that's something that we heard echoed throughout really all the coaches that we talked to about how he comes in and just really connects with the players around him. How has that made an impact?
Made a huge impact. You know, day one, he went to the receiver and said, hey, look, boys, we're throwing at this time. And some of the receivers like, nah. And he said, no, I don't care what you got. You're going to change your schedule. We're throwing at this time. So really just commanding those guys in a respectful way, in a humble way, but demanding that those guys, you know, focus on creating the timing that they need as a group.
All right, so, Coach, you've got a legitimate quarterback battle here in spring going into the fall camp. Potentially 3 quarterbacks you're deciding between. Jay Woolfolk is not here right now because he's getting ready for a baseball game. How has him playing baseball affected the race for him to be the starting quarterback?
You know, this race is going to go all the way into fall camp, so I assured him, and the staff knows that we're not making any decisions coming out of spring, and he's really, really impacting the baseball team. But when he's here, he's done a good job. He's been on limited throw counts when he's over here. Some days he can throw, some days he can't, but I mean, he's been locked in, and when the days that he's here, you can see that there's added competition. Hey, Horton, I see you. I see you, Horton.
It's a nice play right there. But, Coach, we've talked enough about the quarterbacks. Let's talk about something near and dear to both of our hearts, the running backs. And you've talked publicly about how Mike Hollins has looked, but he's a part of an incredibly deep running back room.
Right.
I mean, it's got to be one of the places you feel the best about going into the summer and fall. How have you felt about the development of that room?
You know, it's been awesome to watch. And so you have Paris, who was the starter last year, and then Mike was kind of rolling number 2. You add Kobe Pace to the mix. Cody's had an extra year in the program. It's just been fun to watch those guys compete every single day, because that's a position they're used to touching the ball all the time. And now you're rolling 4 or 5 guys deep, and you can't forget about X. The biggest thing is I've been impressed with Coach Gaither and his ability to create the cohesion amongst those guys so that they can go out and just focus on competing and not worrying about how many touches or how many snaps they get in practice.
Coach Elliott, this has to be the not fun part of not being a head coach right now. We're watching you have to run from the other side to get behind the play.
I need it because
what's it like for you at spring ball?
I need it because last year I came out here and it reminded me that my shirt was kind of showing my belly. So I need these extra laps up and down the field to stay in shape.
What do you look for when you're standing back there and hope to get out of this game?
You know, I'm just trying to see just execution on both sides of the ball, see which guy's going to flash, who's going to make a play. Just seeing competition. So that's really what I'm looking for.
Coach, we're seeing guys play at a really high level right now here in the spring football game. How would they make a transition from dealing with all the emotions pregame to getting ready to play, putting that behind them? What do you just say to get them ready for that?
Well, I tell you, it's been a collective effort with everybody from the administration to sports psychology to our staff to the players. But the players started it when they came back in January with an unbelievable spirit. Just a spirit of you could tell they had a sense of purpose. Everything that they were going to do, they were going to give everything that they had. And as coaches and the staff, we wanted to make sure that we did not take away from that. So being mindful of the things that they're going to see and prepare them for that, but not try to overdo it and then allow them to kind of lead the way and then come alongside. So we started with some mental health meetings when we first got back, just give them some different techniques on how to deal with grief, with loss, with anxiety, with stress, with lack of sleep. And just carry that throughout the spring. And then this week in particular, we knew there was going to be a lot of emotion around the first time in Scott Stadium environment. There was going to be some things that they were going to see on the field and on their helmet. So we made sure on Thursday that we showed that to them. And then we also allowed our sports psychology department to come in and teach us some breathing techniques. So really being intentional and being mindful of where they're at, what they're going to see as we go through this, this process of moving forward.
Coach, defensively, a lot of the guys you're going to count on in the fall not practicing over the course of the spring and not playing today, guys like Chico Bennett, Jonas Sanker, and Aaron Falmouy. What have you seen from the growth of this defense in the absence of those guys?
You know, it's been fun to watch James Jackson step into a leadership role. Now Ben Smiley has to lead up front and without Aaron Falmouy. So it's been fun to watch those guys, get an opportunity, and they've flashed. And Mike Diotta's been a guy that's filled in for Falmouy. And on the back end, the addition of Tavon Kyle and Cameron Kelly is kind of, filled the void for Jonas. But I'm excited for when we do get those guys back to full strength. Now what we've been able to do is, over the course of spring ball, develop some depth.
Coach, how about your guys up front on the offensive line as well? Roddy and I were here with you last year, and it was so depleted. I know you're working your way back, but you got to feel pretty good about where that group is compared to where you were last year heading into the season.
That's right. So we signed a large group of freshmen and then also a couple of transfers. Unfortunately, with the transition on the O-line, a couple of transfer guys decided to leave, but the freshmen got an opportunity this spring. And so it's been fun to watch Coach Heffernan come in from Stanford and kind of gel with Coach Kitchens and philosophically and understanding what we want to do, which has allowed him to be able to help these guys get better fundamentally. And so we feel better about where we are, not where we need to be, but we feel like we're headed in the right direction up front.
I've heard you talk a lot about the transfer portal and how the roster that you have is not complete yet. You're still out there looking for more pieces to add. What position groups are you looking to target in the transfer portal?
Definitely want to find the best offensive lineman that we can to complete that group up front, and then, possibly another wideout because we're under at our number there, and then we need another DB. Obviously, we had 2 really good DBs, one that left to transfer, but then one that's going pro, so we need to fill another spot on the back end.
All right, Tony Elliott, we're going to let you go. Keep the headset off. Go back to coaching your guys. It has been fun. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys so much for covering us, and appreciate just all the support that you gave us throughout the course of last year and into this season.
Thursday, the Huddle crew will have their draft analysis special highlighting the ACC players with the NFL draft less than 2 weeks away. Our 1-hour show begins at 6 p.m. Eastern right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. I know you're wondering about the Virginia prospects. Well, we got a couple of the top prospects on the field standing by with Kelsey.
Yeah, Keaton Thompson, Anthony Johnson here with me now. They said, as soon as we saw you, Anthony said, I knew you were going to be trying to track me down. And of course we are, guys. It is great to see you back out here. I know it means a lot to you to be back here, but let's just start first with what it's been like as you get ready for the NFL draft.
It's just been an unreal moment, just going through this process, training, the combine, pro day, just kind of seeing all the hard work that you've been doing throughout these years kind of just pay off to the ultimate goal and the dream that, you had as a little kid. It's just been an unreal experience.
And Keaton, you guys have been training some together. What have you really been focusing on, and what's it like to still be going at it with this guy?
Oh, man, it's been great, and it's really been a blessing to, still be able to work out with AJ and, compete. Our competitive nature just, pushes each other, and I think that really is getting us ready for the next level. So, man, it's really been great, and we're just enjoying the experience right now.
You told me you guys were able to go one of your visits with one of the teams together. What was that like?
It was just fun, being in the car ride, just enjoying each other's time, and then, just being able to be there in that NFL setting, like with the possibilities of, like we possibly could be on the same team again, which would be like a very fun experience. But I always win the one-on-one reps against KT anyway, so.
I got to give you a rebuttal there.
Oh, man, AJ just talks a lot. I mean, he's a talker. He's a TV guy. See, he got his polo on, he's TV ready. He likes telling stories, but I let him have that one.
You got to like what you're seeing from these quarterbacks, because they're going to have a battle out here. But we've got a 60-plus yard touchdown on the first drive. What are your expectations?
Yeah, I love it. That's how it would have played out if me and AJ would have been on the field. It would have been the exact same thing, a 60-yard touchdown. But, yeah, man, it's been great to see the quarterbacks, slinging around and compete out here. Young guys looking really well, and the transfer is looking good as well.
And on the other side of things, this defense, we might not see a lot of the guys right now, but it is a veteran defense. What are your expectations for the guys that are back in this locker room?
Just, not a lot of scoring. I just want to see the guys, just be confident and, understand that, to trust one another and just, play off of, confidence and just understand that, trust your coaches, trust the system, and that Coach Rudd and Coach Cox are going to do a good job to put them in position. But it's a low-scoring game right now, so which means the defense is doing pretty good on both ends. So that's what I like to see.
That's what you like to see. That's not what this guy likes to see.
It's raining and it's bad weather out, Yeah, it's a lot of factors that play into the score.
I likes to make a lot of excuses.
Oh, man, these two could go back and forth forever. And guys, we appreciate the time. Before we let you go, I do also want to ask you, obviously, there's a lot of emotion for everyone being back here in Scott Stadium for the first time. What's it like for you guys, and why was it important to be here today?
Man, just to support our teammates. And, as you know, Mike Hollins was involved in the incident. And, to come out and see him compete again and really, support our brothers and to represent UVA, man, I think it was really important to get out here and just, really support the UVA football.
Yeah, 100%. Seeing Mike out here, running and, carrying the ball like nothing ever happened. It's just a testament to how strong he is.
Number 36.
And, being able to meet with the Perry family, just seeing how tough and strong they are to be out here today. It's just a blessing, just to have life and just to be out here to support my teammates and be here for these guys. So it's just an unreal moment.
Well, I know it means a lot for them to have you guys here as well. You guys have represented this program so well and will continue at the next level. And guys, we'll send it back up to you in the studio. These guys are probably ready to get out there and go at it right now.
I think they also want to get out of the rain, but good stuff.
They probably do want to get out of the rain, too. That's true. They're tough, though. They're good.
100%. This is Mike Hollins on the ground. We do have a penalty flag. Roddy, that is something we have heard, not just from current players, former players, everyone who sees Mike Hollins. He is such an inspiration. He has become the heartbeat of this team.
It really has. I mean, he's been an inspiration to people who aren't around this team, people around the country. The resilience, and that's
number 82.
Tony Elliott.
Half the distance to the goal.
The resilience
Replay
of the
first
human
down.
spirit has been displayed through this team, and I think nobody has displayed it more than what Mike Hollins has been able to do.
Mike Hollins looking to punch it in here. Blue team with a field goal on their opening drive. They trail by 4 here in the second quarter.
Got a 6'4" receiver down at the bottom in Malachi Fields. What if they just throw it up to him one time? See if he can go get it.
First and goal, Colandrea. He will hand it off. Hollins trying to get to that edge. Leaping, diving. And he's going to be marked out of bounds at the 2.
We got replay in spring games. I want to see. I think we challenge that.
Sorry, he's actually going to be knocked back. So he's going to be stopped at the 3. Take a look.
Right there on the sideline. I'm going to say he got in. I'm going to disagree. I have no idea. Couldn't see anything. But
all right, here's a better angle. On the sideline. Yeah, it just does clip that white.
Barely, but wasn't much.
2nd and goal from the 3 for the blue team. Back to Hollins. And he is met immediately in the backfield. This white defense, they've got some good penetration up front.
They've done a nice job, especially once they've gotten inside the high red zone, 25 in. The blue team's really been able to move the ball, and I think a lot of that credit goes to Anthony Colandrea and this offensive line. They've been able to run the ball as well. But a few 3rd downs that we've seen. Let's see if the freshman handles the 3rd and manageable better than did the earlier ones.
That was Carlo Thompson on defense for the white team, getting in there first, applying the hit. Colandrea looking to throw, back of the end zone, incomplete. William Simpkins batted it away at the last moment.
They eventually go to the 6'4" Malachi Fields. If you're able to get that ball up a little bit more, I think it gives them a better shot. Although William Simpkins jumped way outside to start, so it made it an awkward route on the fade. But nonetheless, it's almost like he should have just converted it to a slant, turned around right there.
So another red zone appearance for the blue team, another field goal attempt. Aiden Brutt kicking it up, and he is 2 for 2 on the day to get the blue team within 1. 6:22 to play here in this first half at Virginia. The white team with a 1-point lead. When tragedy struck the University of Virginia football team back in November, former Who's basketball player Anthony Gill and his wife Jenna, they immediately began thinking about how they could help the team's players and coaches heal. Check this out. Friday, March the 24th, Gill had about 100 players and staffers as guests to see his team on the court, the Washington Wizards, take down the San Antonio Spurs 136-124. One of those bonding experiences that the guys will remember. And Tony Elliott talks about the growth from year 1 to year 2. Obviously, the tragedy is a part of that. But he said he's seeing guys spending more time together off the field, which says to him they're coming closer together.
And spending more time in the facilities. This is not one of those places that mandates guys come back after their morning activities. You can go do what you need to do. But we've seen a lot more of guys around the facility, which certainly is good not only for bonding, but also you're in the facility, you're probably watching film.
So Brio boots things away for the kick. It's getting wet out there. And a muffed kick return. The blue team has it back on special teams. Demeek Starling could not get the handle on the ball.
It was a really awkward kick to field by Starling. I mean, you're having to field it low. It's wet. He tries to wrangle it, pick it up, can't quite get it, and the blue team is handed excellent field position. And Tony Elliott's got to be sitting there thinking, what do I got to do to get Tony Muskett some reps in this first half? He had the 3-play drive earlier. He's had maybe, I think, 2 other drives, short drives. Other than that, we have not seen a lot of Tony Muskett.
And we asked him before the game, we said, how long are we going to see Tony Muskett? He said, maybe a half, maybe into the third quarter. We might see him the whole game now.
I know, we haven't seen him much this half.
So the freshman Anthony Colandrea will come back onto the field. This 3rd time the blue team's in the red zone. Swing pass to the running back. This is Hollins. Hollins making his cut, taking the hit. And he has not shied away from contact here in this spring game.
No, he's not. He's always had really good balance through contact, and he's always shown flashes of being a really good back in this league. I think his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, too, is one of the things that is a little underrated. Led the running backs last year in targets. So he's going to be a major part of this offense.
2nd and 3, fake the handoff, got to get rid of it. Colandrea pressured up front. That was good pressure applied by Cam Butler. He's the transfer from Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, a really experienced guy for them on the defensive line. But remember when we talked to Tony earlier, right before when he was talking to Colandrea, he said, hey, gave him a little coaching point on the naked earlier. Well, another naked bootleg, gets his head around, gets the ball away. those little coaching nuggets, the ability to digest those and implement those is the reason that Anthony Colandrea has done a really nice job this spring.
So off lane completion will be 3rd and 3 coming up for the blue team. Colandrea taking his time at the line. Shotgun empty backfield. Here comes the pressure. Gets rid of it. Incomplete, but a late penalty flag as Ethan Davies was affected by Aiden Ryan.
It's going to be time for me to legislate the spring game whistles in just a second, because that's a sack.
Pass interference. Defense, number 17. Ball will be placed in the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
It's one of those for the defensive players. They're going to say this. I actually agree with that one. I mean, you probably should have been blown dead for a sack. I mean, you got a guy pulling up, not going straight at the quarterback. But nonetheless, I'll get back on the side of my brethren on the offense. Great call by the officials.
That was Dave Herrard applying the pressure, which you feel like should have been credited with a sack.
Yeah, well, you know.
The coaches will notice that on the tape.
Yeah, absolutely.
1st and goal inside the 5, throwing end zone, jumping up, incomplete to Malachi Fields. He was being face guarded by Cohen King.
Cohen King's actually one of the stories, I think, of this Virginia defense. A guy that played a lot at safety for this team a year ago. Somewhat out of necessity has to move to corner. The coaches said he's been as good a corner as they've had, doing a nice job making it tough on Malachi Fields. But Cohen King could be a guy that ends up starting for them day one at corner in the fall.
2nd and goal. Hollins gets through that pressure up the middle. He'll be stopped a yard short, picked up 2.
Mike Hollins has been a bit of a bell cow in this first half. One of the most incredible stories that Tony Elliott told us is that the trainers actually told Mike Hollins to get comfortable, carry around the football to get used to where he would carry it on the incisions that had to be made during his recovery.
Hollins with the carry. Touchdown, Virginia. And his little brother comes storming in. He wants to celebrate with Mike Hollins. 5 months after being shot and wounded, Hollins into the end zone. Extra point by Vaden Brio. And it is up and good. What a scene here at Virginia. Emotions. It was sadness early to start this game, but it is all excitement right now as fans get the chance to cheer for Virginia back on the field as Hollins gets into the end zone.
What an incredible moment. The recovery, the journey. It's not a game that's the score is going to matter, but that plunge into the end zone is probably as impactful a play that's going to happen for this Virginia team until the season starts. And then the moment honoring his fallen teammates, just emotional.
Guy's incredibly emotional as you see his teammates continuing to come up to him. When we talked to him, when he talked with the media a few weeks ago about being back on the field, he said the mental recovery was the part that was hard for him. He said it would have been tedious to find new ways to cope, but that getting back out on this football field, it was freedom for him. He says it's freeing to be out here. I don't think I have to play. I didn't think when I play, I just do it. And so it's something that has continued to help him as he looks to move forward and also continue find ways to be an inspiration to all those around him. I can imagine, first of all, what it's like for him going through this, guys, but also the support that he has felt and seen day in and day out.
Not just an inspiration, he is out there producing. Hollins had every yard on that last drive. He's now 11 carries, 39 yards, and that touchdown. Do we have another turnover? No, the officials will say down before that ball came out.
Shot at Cameron Kelly, one of the new additions coming over from North Carolina. Played a lot of ball at Carolina the last few seasons. That safety position, He's been playing mostly nickel for UVA. Physical player who's done a nice job in coverage over the course of his career.
As Tony Muskett will come out and get a chance to put together a drive here for this white team. His first drive just unloaded a 63-yard touchdown connection on the ground. This is Paris Jones. Jones is the roommate for Mike Hollins, picked up 6 yards there. We had a great conversation with Paris Jones this week. He talked about just what Mike Hollins is going through, and Jones being his roommate for the past year. He said, I see in public he's got to be strong for everybody else, but in private, when we're in the room together, he goes, he does have his moments, and I have to be there for him, kind of put my arm on his shoulder and say, it's okay, we're here for you as well.
What an impressive young man, an impressive supporter of a teammate, a brother, a roommate. And by the way, Tony Elliott said he's been one of the brightest spots this spring.
Sling pass out to the tight end. That is Carson Gay with the reception. A gain of no yards on that one. Brings up 3rd down.
Carson Gay, another guy that they're very excited about. Sort of in the mold of those flex tight ends, 6'5", 225, 230 pounds. Really improved his blocking. But a guy who has natural ball skills. So I think as we get into the fall, that tight end room is a strength for Virginia. Carson Gay is going to be a big part of it.
As the clock continues to tick here in this first half, brings up a 3rd and 4 for the white team. Looking to throw back to Gay. They're going to rule that one incomplete.
The weather, I think, probably affecting Tony Muskett in that throw there. See the way it came out. I don't know if it got tipped or it just came out weird, but either way, a tough catch for Gay, and it ends up being short. It's been interesting. Other than the big play, things have been really hard for the white team, or the blue team has been able to establish the run. 2nd 3 and out for the white.
So Daniel Sparks will come on to punt it away for the white team. Davies set to return field, and he falls down. You know, the big thing for Tony Muskett, he told us, was just learning the playbook. Well, he's had some help with that, right, Kelsey?
That's hard is he told us he's a visual learner. He's a visual auditory learner, so he visualizes what's going on. I don't know about Tony, but I wasn't visualizing all the rain that we're seeing today, so this adds kind of a different wrinkle to what he's doing. But he does. He has somebody who helps him. That's his girlfriend, Michaela. It was so interesting to talk to him about what he does to make sure that he has the script down of what they're doing. So he says he visualizes what's going on. He writes it down. They get the script that they're running, and he goes in his room, or he might have his girlfriend on the phone. He's back in New Jersey. And he stands in room and he visualizes the plays. He says he doesn't trust anybody with the playbook, so she just knows what to call out, and he does it himself. It's kind of a group effort there. So we're going to get to talk to Tony in a little while. So I wonder what Michaela is kind of thinking about the first half performance.
And he said Michaela's going to love the shout out.
Which, she should. I mean, she's
working hard.
She is working hard, giving him the plays, having him tell her what the checks are, what he's looking for. But good for him not turning over the playbook. That's wifey material right there. You get the ring and the playbook when you get engaged.
No pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
2nd and 5 here for Colandrea. He will step up in the pocket, thinking about it, and he will go down for a sack. He was being chased down by Ryan Attaway.
You know, it's one of those situations for a young quarterback. Colandrea in high school, probably able to get around there and not be tracked down from behind. When you get to the college level, you always learn there is always a faster guy. And so you'd like to see the freshman dish the ball away. That's probably what Tony Elliott's coaching him up on. Hey, be smart. Keep us in 3rd and manageable, and don't take the sack to get it to 3rd and 10.
All right, with the timeout on the field, let's take a look. We got 3 more games highlighting our spring football schedule on ACC Network Extra next week. Starts with Syracuse and Louisville on Friday at 7 Eastern. Duke's spring game will be at 1 Eastern next Saturday. ACC Network Extra is ACC Network's complimentary streaming platform. It's accessible through the ESPN app or your smartphone, tablet, connected stream device, or you can go to ESPN.com/watch.
That Louisville spring game should be really interesting. Jeff Brom takes over for Louisville, almost like the prodigal son returning. Jack Plummer, who Jeff Brom coached at Purdue, had transferred to Cal. He comes back over to Louisville. That's going to be an interesting one. It's the only team in the conference that doesn't play Clemson or Florida State next year. So as the schedule broke, Louisville has about as friendly a schedule as you could imagine.
3rd and 10, setting up the swing pass, incomplete to Hollins. What do you think is the value of a spring game? Obviously, it's an opportunity to get on the field, but from a coaching perspective, you have so many pieces. What do you look at? What can you take away?
I think you look at the individual battles. It's not as much about the collective, but how is your left guard doing? Not necessarily how he combos with a guy that he hasn't played against or played with very much, but how does he perform and what his job is? You don't want missed assignments. You don't want blown coverages, but you're looking to win those one-on-one battles.
Sparks with the punt, set to return as Malik Washington trying to get around that corner, crossing the 40, eventually spun out of bounds just short of midfield. That white sideline, they wanted an extra penalty flag there.
They did. It's not very teammate-like to give the extra shove.
So good field position. As Tony Muskett will come back out onto the field, and for Muskett, how would you evaluate him so far today?
Well, we haven't seen him very much, but the big thing is what he brings to the table, I think, as a whole. He's got an excellent deep ball, and we haven't seen it because he's in the orange jersey, but really moves well in the pocket and probably moves better than they anticipated. He needed to move well to field that ground ball. But when you look at what he's able to do in the pocket maneuvering, he's really assisted by a quick release and nice accuracy, especially with the deep ball and underneath. So I think the tools are there where if the offensive line comes together, he's got weapons on the outside, he could have a nice season.
Muskett looking to throw, will sling it. Can't make the one-handed catch. He's looking for his tight end again, Carson Gay.
You just wonder how he's been impacted by sort of the disjointed half that this offense has had. Weather obviously plays a part to it as well, but those are easy pitch and catches, and it throws that he usually makes if you go back and watch him at Monmouth.
Also the excitement. He's a kid who grew up in Fairfax.
Good call.
He's playing for his state school, moving up from the FCFs to now to Power 5 football. This is a big moment for him as well. Here's Muskett looking for the deep shot and overthrows his receiver Wilson, but a late penalty flag. And then if you're Tony Muskett, you really haven't even had many opportunities.
Defense.
Only 13 plays on offense from the white team.
10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
He's going to get helped by defensive holding. Tavon Kyle once again. Probably happened before that replay started because there wasn't much there, but White gets new lease on life a little bit.
So 1st and 10 for the white team. Swing pass completes to Jones. And Jones will be chopped down short of the 35, a gain of 7. You know, one thing that's helping Tony Muskett, the offensive scheme that he played in at Monmouth is a very similar pro-style offense to Virginia.
It really is. It's going to be based on running the football and play action off it. What Des Kitchings ultimately wants to do is be a wide to mid-zone team. You're going to sprinkle in some inside zone and then play action off of that. Obviously, traditional drop back, everybody's got that. But if this team's going to be at its best, it's going to be running the football first to set up play action.
And there are so many good running backs on this Virginia squad this year. Parrish Jones in the backfield. He'll go out for a route, looking to block as Muskett will be stopped and he'll be sacked.
There's a little glimpse of Tony Muskett's ability to move in the pocket.
Second charge timeout.
He escaped from some of those when he was at Monmouth last year. Now, in this situation, you're obviously going to blow it dead. But his ability to feel pressure, so that's one of those, I actually think he gets out of that. I mean, there was some clearance. He was moving well. See a little bit there, a flash of just the awareness he has when he's in that pocket.
He's a guy who his season ended with a leg injury at Monmouth. So he's a guy who in the offseason learned, I've got to really take care of my body in order to recover and learn how to be able to eat better, train better, recover better. And he's really growing up, and he's like, the facilities that he has here at Virginia, he said, compared to Monmouth, and he's not trying to dog Monmouth at all, but he said the facilities that he has available now, he's just blown away.
It's a different level. The support, the nutrition that you're going to receive, the attention that you're going to receive. And you want guys like that who come in and appreciate it to take advantage of it, to help them improve and tap into potentially some athletic ability that they hadn't been able to in the past.
Guys, I love the other thing that we heard from him talking about the opportunity if he is to be the starting quarterback, saying it would just mean the world to him. He says he has such an immense sense of pride being back here in Virginia, and it would mean everything to him to have the opportunity to lead this team, but you can tell he's doing his best to take advantage in any way possible of leading this team.
And Roddy, what do you see as a teammate when you see a guy who's just hungry, who just wants it? What does that do for everybody else?
I think it invigorates everybody else. Not taking the little things for granted. You know, the guys who got recruited to Virginia, that's all they've ever known is the facilities and the amenities that Virginia has. And so for a guy to come in and say, man, we didn't have this, we didn't have that, we didn't have, you know, all of these different things can make you really appreciate where you are.
Well, guys, you also heard Tony Elliott earlier talking about when he showed up and saying, hey, we're throwing it this time tomorrow. When we talked to Paris Jones, he said that this is a guy who's so committed. He's always in the playbook. He's always in the film room. He's a team guy. He said that drew him into him instantly. And it's exactly what you're talking about there, Roddy. It goes a long way, especially a guy who's coming in as a transfer and coming into a situation here at Virginia after the tragedy that they experienced.
100%. You can tell he has the guys' respect here. 3rd and 13. Crossing route. Oh, what a collision. The ball came out from Wilson. He does fall back on top of it, a gain of 5.
Just see how much they're featuring J.R. Wilson, and there's going to be linebackers and safeties across the conference who do not want to be on the business end of that. It's a nice job of Trey McDonald forcing the ball out.
Going quickly, trying to scamper. Musket on the run. Completes to Jones. Out of the backfield. He'll be down. Where do they mark him? Inside the 5.
It's going to come up just short at the end of the half. How close that was. It's a good job of creativity by Tony Musket. It's a hard throw that he made, but a nice job getting it to Paris Jones. He comes up just short.
So at the half here in the spring game, the blue team with a 13-7 lead over the white team. Send it out to Kelsey with the starting quarterback for the white team.
Tony, I know you would have liked at least one more drive there, one more play on that last drive. What'd you see?
Yeah, I mean, that's just a 2-minute situation. Our defense does a great job of, knowing the situation, keeping everything in front of them. So, right there, thought we'd get to Paris, hopefully get in, but if not, get down, spike it, maybe a chance for another play. But, like I said, great job by the defense keeping us out. But it's been a good first half, a little weather, but guys are flying around, guys are having fun, so it's been fun.
The weather feels better right now, but tell me about that first drive, because you start things off with a 63-yard touchdown. To do that here, what did it feel like?
Oh, man, it was awesome. That's just credit. Offensive line especially, those dudes block their butts off every day for me, especially on that play. And then, JR running a great route, getting inside and, getting back over the top so I can give him a place to throw it. And then, everybody, Coach Kitchens, like I said, having the trust to call that, and we're just get a first down. So it's been awesome, playing with this group of guys and seeing the blue team, drive down the field. So expect for a great second half and keep on having fun.
We have talked a lot about your motivation, your inspiration to continue to push harder and know the playbook. We also gave a shout out to Michaela. What do you think Michaela's feedback would be from the first half?
Well, I think she'd be mad at me for missing those 2 throws on the last drive there. But no, I mean, that's what's awesome about being here is, having people that I care about, being able to come and see me play, especially she's from New Jersey, but, I got a bunch of friends here too from Northern Virginia. So it's been awesome, man, beating Scott for the first time, a real game-like setting. So like I said, I hope the second half continues to be awesome and I'm having fun.
Tony, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good stuff, Kelsey. You know what I took away from that? The fun aspect.
Yeah.
You can tell guys are enjoying just being back out on the field and having the fans celebrate them for what they're doing on the field.
And for different reasons, but it ultimately comes down to appreciation and not taking this moment for granted. It's been cool to see.
Take a look at some of these storylines when we come back this halftime report. What's going on across the ACC landscape? We'll get you caught up on what's going on. And a day in the life of Jay Woolfolk. He plays baseball and football. He's got a lot going on. You don't want to miss it. Roddy Jones, John Shervin, Kelsey Riggs on the field. All right, outstanding first half of action here from the Virginia spring game. Really the brightest spot of everybody Mike Hollins, 11 carries, 39 yards, and a touchdown, getting in the end zone. What a performance.
It's almost like it was written in a storybook, his recovery, and then to come out here and perform. He's looked really good. He's been physical running the football. He's shown some wiggle. He's shown some burst. Obviously, the touchdown was an incredibly emotional scene.
All right, let's send it down to Kelsey.
Yeah, guys, I'm standing here with Mike Hollins' roommate, Paris Jones. You probably know Mike better than most of people, especially all the time you guys have spent together over the last year. To see him get in the end zone, what was that like?
Oh man, it was amazing. You know, it's like the final cap, right, on a great comeback, right? And it's not over yet, but it was definitely a great moment to see him get in the end zone. You know, it was amazing, and I know it did wonders for him. I can only imagine how emotional it is being back out here. So.
And you guys are on separate teams, so I asked you, did you get to see him yet? And tell the people what you said.
Yeah, they keeping it separate in the locker room. You know, blue versus white. But as he was running out here, we exchanged a hello and good stuff. Keep going. And he told me to get in the box, so that's what I'm gonna try to do for him.
He's gonna keep coaching you up as you do for him. I know you guys support each other so much. To be back on this field today and have that moment walking into Scott Stadium with all the fans, can you describe the feeling?
A lot of emotions, a lot of emotions. A lot of guys were very emotional, as could be expected. Last time we were in here, we were with, our recently deceased, so it's very, very hard, but it's also a sense of, empowerment, knowing that we're here for a reason to do something special for those guys and to make sure that their names live on.
And I know you guys have continued to inspire this community and lean on each other, but it is about, as Tony Elliott said, continuing to move forward. What do you want to see this team do as you move forward and get ready for the season?
What we've already been doing. Since we came back, there's been a great sense of energy, a great sense of passion and purpose, and just carry that out, be energetic and be thankful that we had the opportunity to play this game,
One of the leaders of this team, guys, and the captains last year. Paris, we appreciate the time. Enjoy the second half.
Thank you, guys.
Guys.
All right, good stuff. At some point, we're going to get to his Jersey Mike story about how the community has rallied behind him. But, man, the two of them together, they're a force in the backfield.
They really are. We've talked about the depth there. Paris Jones was a starter for most of last season until he got banged up. But if you're able to have a Paris Jones, a Mike Hollins, a Kobe Pace who has accomplished what he did at Clemson, running back can be a real strength.
Good return on this kickoff to start this third quarter for Malik Washington. So the white team finds themselves down 13-7. We start this third quarter. And Tony Muskett wasn't happy with how he ended the half. What do you want to see from him this first drive of the second half?
Well, he missed a couple of easy tosses late in that first half. I think you just want to see him be sharp. Complete the passes that you should. If you have an opportunity to hit a play and you take a shot, give your receivers an opportunity to make a play.
Here's Muskett coming out throwing. He will find his tight end, Grant Mish, with the reception. A gain of 9.
Those type throws, that's what you want to see out of a guy who's competing for the starter's job. Hit your layups. Let's start there, and then as you go on, you can start to rein them in from 3.
A gain of 9 is considered a layup.
Yeah, it's an easy pitch and catch. It's just sitting down right on the hash.
I like it.
It's a throw that you and I could make, out in the backyard.
If that's a layup for this Virginia offense going forward, this offense is going to explode.
Yeah,
but think about it, though. This offense, year 1 to year 2, they're looking to make that big jump.
Yeah, and Kelsey sort of talked to Paris Jones about being in this stadium another time for the first time since the tragedy. But also, that game against Pitt, the last game last year, was a brutal performance offensively. Only 144 yards, back-to-back pick sixes to start the game. It was a very sour taste from a football standpoint.
That's Jack Greasy in there for the first time, the sophomore out of Chantilly, Virginia. Comes from a long line of football players. Grandfather Bob was an NFL quarterback Hall of Famer. His dad, Scott, played defensive back here at Virginia. There goes Greasy again, lowering those shoulders, man. When he gets low, you can tell people are not bringing him down easy.
He's almost the type of guy that you feel like should have a neck roll, cowboy collar as he runs. But he's a big guy, 6 foot, about 225. And he has really earned the trust of this Virginia coaching staff and telling us, hey, look, we've gotten to the point, if we got to put Jack Greasy in the game, we feel pretty good about it because of his physicality.
Picked up 4 there on first down and bring up 2nd and 6 for the white team. There you go. No, this is Musket with the keeper, showing you his wheels, and that's the wrinkle in this offense that he adds when he's at quarterback.
Taylor Lamb, the quarterback's coach, told us he moves a little better than we thought on film. You see the ability. There was a blitzer off the edge, the ability to pull the ball, get around the corner, and not only get around and get a couple yards. That was a chunk play for this Virginia offense. So that mobility certainly does bring an element to this offense that they really desire.
Longest run of the day for the white team right there. 13 yards off the keeper by Tony Musket. So Greasy remains in the backfield at running back. They fake the handoff. Musket rolling out to his right, decides to keep it himself again. Adds some room, still daylight, and that play would have been blown down earlier. Probably would have been tackled if he didn't have the orange jersey. But his ability to make a decision and get out of the pocket quickly, we saw that there.
I mean, even so, you're probably getting a 7-8 yard gain out of that. Even if it had been blown dead where we think he would have been first contacted. But he doesn't see anything. It's a mature decision. Tuck it, get upfield, and run. You've probably been down right there, but still, you're close to a first down. And in a situation like this, when they don't blow it, it becomes another chunk run.
Got to give some credit to his tight end out leading in front, blocking Carson Gay. We saw him as a receiver, but he can also open up some holes.
Yeah, he certainly can. Blocking drastically improved this spring.
So 1st and 10 after the gain of 19 for the white offense. Here's Musket. There's his layup over the middle. Finds Wilson again. Wilson eventually brought down, but he picked up 12.
I like how much J.R. Wilson's been featured today. He is going to be a guy that has to be a big part of this offense because of his size and his physicality. And if you're able to develop him and Malachi Fields, you're talking about two 6'4" receivers out there. And so when they go big, 12 personnel, 2 tight ends on the field, and those 2 big receivers, that is a massive lineup and hard for defenses to contend with.
Wilson has the touchdown catch earlier today. He's 4 catches, 82 yards. Back to Greasy on the ground. You know, we didn't mention the lineage. His uncle, Brian Greasy. I mean, he's the quarterback coach for the 49ers, longtime quarterback. I mean, the people he can go to for advice in his life about playing football, it's incredible.
It's deep, significant, accomplished. Would have loved to have seen him bounce that last one outside, show the wheels, but puts his head down and gets a positive gain.
He looks like he's a banger.
He
wants to feel somebody.
Right. He wants no part.
Barreling his way in there. Greasy, touchdown. An 8-yard touchdown run by Jack Greasy. And the white team back in the end zone.
Great push by this offensive line. Look at that left side creating the crease. A nice seal on the backside by Mikhail Boley. And Greasy gets in the end zone. I'm telling you, man, there's a spot on this team for Jack Greasy. And I'm not talking about just hanging around. Like, I think he's going to get meaningful touches early and often this season.
Well, Bettridge, the extra point is good. White team takes a 1-point lead. What an opening drive to start this third quarter.
Tony Musket looks sharp, but the story, Jack Greasy doing a great job plunging into the end zone for the white team.
Welcome back to the Virginia spring game. On that last drive, first drive of the third quarter, white team getting in the end zone. Jack Greasy with the plunge, putting the white team on top by 1. John Schripp and Roddy Jones, Kelsey Riggs on the call. We are pleased to be joined by offensive coordinator Des Kitchings. And Coach, we always talk about the quarterbacks, but you know we got to give the running backs some love. How about Greasy and the white team getting in the end zone that first drive?
Grease ball, man, I tell you, he's had a tremendous spring for us, too, just like all those running backs. It was good to see him get in there, man. He looked like an old-school Peyton Hillis out there.
Yeah, he did, just carrying guys, bowling into the end zone. But both teams have really been able to run the football well. I know that's where you want this offense to start. So what have you thought about the ability of both sides to run the ball?
I tell you, it's been good to see the O-line control the line of scrimmage and change the line of scrimmage. That's been a really point of emphasis. You know, the guys have done a great job of working together in their combos, and you're starting to see some fruits of that labor and just keep building on that. Because you know what happened when you do that, you know, our first touchdown was off a play action pass, so it opens up the play action pass game.
Quarterback Grady Brosterhouse is in there for the first time. Let's still talk about the running backs. Coach, you have so many weapons now at running back. Can you tell us how you're going to use each guy and how you keep everybody involved?
Yeah, they all have similar skill traits, so they could just roll them in there and keep them fresh. Have a rotation, a pitch count for those guys because they're competing every day in practice, man. There's a lot of great humility and guys are working together.
I'm standing down here not too far from you, and you were putting the headset on, and I was saying, all right, I want to keep you seeing you be you. Don't be playing coy for the cameras. What's it like as you're coaching these guys out here? I know you're getting in on some of them and enjoying it.
Yeah, it's been a blast. I mean, this spring has been really fun with these kids, the competitive spirit. I mean, guys are having fun. We're competing every day, and now we just get a chance to put it together here on this spring game. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
What are going to be the focuses moving out of the spring as you get into summer and the fall?
Yeah, so continue to build on our strength and conditioning because we want to be able to play with tempo. So this summer's going to be really big on increasing our competitive stamina from a conditioning standpoint. And then continue to stress the guys, mentally, going back through installs and kind of stretching the guys that way so we can expand our offensive package.
So the defense, Ben Smiley just got in there for the sack. All right, Coach. Ben Brosterhouse, new quarterback. Yep. Give us the breakdown. What have you seen from him so far this spring, and what do you want to see him execute here?
Taysom Hill. That's what he is. Taysom Hill. The guy plays like a linebacker, man. He's got some good athleticism. You see him right here moving out the pocket. Oh, pick! We got it! We got it! We got it! Let's go! Score! Score! All right. That's us. That's White. No, Rayman. Rayman. Hey, tell Health he's got it.
That's Micah Gaffney with the interception for the white team. But we do have a penalty flag.
I think you're going to get a horse collar on the return as well.
All right, I got my O-line coach calling a couple plays here, so I can still spend some time with you guys.
I appreciate it, Coach.
All right, let's see what he does here. You figure O-line coach is going to run it on the first play, right?
Have to.
Let's see what he does here.
Return.
All right, but no, back to it. Like Grady, like you said, unfortunately threw the pick there, but really another highly competitive kid, good leader for us. Got some athleticism to run it. He's pretty accurate when he throws the ball as well. So, I tell you, there's not a position group on this offense that I'm not excited about, man. These kids, O-line, tight ends, running backs, receivers, they all been working hard in the weight room and really working hard in our meeting rooms and on the practice field with individual. And we're starting to take, our indie to group and then group the team and trying to put together a great product on the field.
One position group that we haven't had an opportunity to talk as much about is your room, the tight ends. You've got Grant Mishback, who's played a lot of ball. Sackett Wood played some great ball for you last year. I know you're excited about Carson Gay. What have you seen from the development of this room, and what do you expect from them going into the summer and fall?
Seen a tremendous growth in their football aptitude, understanding pre-snap, post-snap things that happen for them. And then their evolution, their growth athletically. Sackett and Mish have been working on some things with some flexibility to make them a little bit more athletic and try to at least so they can be fully, immersed in the offense as pass catchers and the run game. So they bring some flexibility to us, gives us a chance and some packages to do some things, and I'm excited about those group, and those guys are ready for the challenge.
Coach, I know you're excited about the quarterback room as well, and we're getting to see Jared Raymond out on the field. What's it like, the competition inside the locker room so far with these guys? Obviously, Jay Woolfolk playing baseball as well, but the level that they've been bringing in spring.
Yeah, I tell you, again, it sounds like a broken record, but it's been a lot of fun and competitive because these kids have kind of answered the bell and coaching each other, encouraging each other because they know if we all get better individually, we get better as a group, and that's been fun to see. And Rayman is like a player coach for us. I mean, he's up in the office with us, giving his thoughts. We want him to be a GA if he wants to because he's just that important to us, but he's great for us.
All right, walk us through this play here.
All right, so we got a little 3x1, little levels. He overthrew it. We had a little shallow with a dig in behind it, a little progression read for the quarterback so he can start to the boundary, with the shallow, back to the field with the dig, with the back on the check down for him. So, in the offense, to try to get these quarterbacks just some progression reads for them, and depending on what the coverage gives them, they can find a completion.
Coach, one of the toughest things to evaluate can be offensive linemen individually, but the depth that you guys have, how much different is it this season in terms of how you feel depth-wise as opposed to last year?
Yeah, well, first thing, in spring ball, totally different this year because we have a legitimate 2 deep plus a couple more so we can actually practice the way we want to practice. The challenge last spring is we might have been out there with 8 guys one day, be 10 or 11 the next day. So you never got any continuity, of them working together. And then our practice had to be, altered because we couldn't do a lot of team stuff. So, with the depth we have, a lot of guys are young and they're getting some work. They get some great teaching from Coach Heff. We're physical. We inside run every day. We team run. We put the ball down on the goal line and, all right, you got 4 plays and all runs. Just trying to build that mentality, of being a physical, aggressive team. And, these kids they're answering the bell. We still got some growth to do, and that's part of it, But we come out of spring feeling pretty good about some things, and we keep progressing throughout the summer into fall camp and hopefully put together a great product in Nashville.
It has been fun to watch so far. Offensive coordinator Des Kitchings, appreciate you spending some time with us.
Thank you very much.
We will step aside here in the third quarter. White team with a 1-point lead. Jonathan Horton, the injured Virginia player, down right now, but he's all smiles. Back to action here in the third quarter. Will Bettridge is attempting a 28-yard field goal. Bettridge, who grew up with Deshaun Perry in Florida, actually followed him to Virginia because of Deshaun Perry, changed his number to 41 to honor him, but he just misses that one a little wide.
It's an incredible tribute from a guy who's known Deshaun Perry for a long time.
If I had to leave y'all with one thing, it'd be to fight. Fight for everything you do, no matter the task at hand. Fight for what you want and fight for the people you love most. Deshaun was the biggest fighter I knew and always pushed himself to be the best person on and off the field. I now fight for you, D. Everything I do is for you now, and I promise I'll make you proud. I love you. See you soon, Rambo.
That's the kicker, Will Bettridge, at the memorial, remembering his good friend Deshaun Perry, tragically taken along with Devin Chandler, Lavelle Davis Jr. in that tragic shooting back in November.
Guys, one of the things that when we talked to Tony Elliott that really stuck with me is when we asked him about what he wanted people watching this broadcast to really take away from this team. And he said, using the real value of sport to overcome adversity. Obviously, these guys have been through so much. Everyone here at Grounds has been through so much. But he said the resiliency of this team is so, so big. He said they've learned the value of life and the human spirit to all come together. You've seen it throughout the last 5 months display itself in so many different ways. And I know it will continue, not just throughout this season, but here at Virginia for a long, long time. It's been great to see the guys in the way that they've been able to lean on each other. And when you say that word resilient, I feel like for me, I don't know about how you guys feel after being here, it just has an even deeper meaning.
You're exactly right, Kelsey. And there was almost a visceral plea to get the message out that going through this is something that you would never wish on anybody to go through. So there was almost a plea from Tony Elliott of, we got to do something. We got to do something so that other communities don't go through this. I mean, in the ACC alone, we just had one recently in Louisville in a community that's in our footprint. So you could feel that as well from Tony Elliott when we spoke to him yesterday.
I was actually supposed to call the Louisville baseball game the day after the game got canceled between Louisville and Kentucky. And to your point, it does feel like we have these shootings not just monthly, weekly now. And you never want to feel like one shooting kind of gets forgotten about, right? You always want to remember the victims, and I think that's what the Virginia school has done so well, honoring the victims. So we're not forgetting about them, but we do want to try to move forward. And when on the field, we're talking to Tony Elliott, he was very public and open, honest about what he's gone through in his life. He said, I lost my mother when I was 9 years old. He said, it was tragic, it was tough, but he said, it almost prepared me for this moment and how to handle and talk to these young men. Virginia could not have had a better leader at the helm to guide them through this tough time. Tony Elliott has done an outstanding job as the head football coach.
He really has. I think you have to give credit to the entire Virginia community. Carla Williams and her decision to hire Tony Elliott after Bronco Mendenhall steps away. And look, a lot of the guys on this team came to play for Bronco Mendenhall, who was an incredible example of what you want from a leader and a man before Tony Elliott. So the foundation was certainly laid, but Tony Elliott, as good a person as there is in this industry.
And John, when you talk about the conversation that we had with Tony Elliott on the field, and he shared with us about losing his mom when he was 9 and how he wants his guys to show the world how they're able to respond. The other thing he said that stuck with me is he said he knows that there will be other things that he goes through in his life where he'll have to lean on this experience. He says, I know this won't be the last thing. Obviously, this is a massive thing, and this is a massive thing that will be with these guys for the rest of their lives. But Tony said, you know, I know that in the future, everybody has to overcome different obstacles and different tragedies, and he's hoping that the world takes away how you respond to tragedies and also the energy that these guys have. I mean, that was the one thing when you talk with everybody about the energy of this team. This is going to give them a lot right there too. Oh, almost.
Incomplete. Eli Wood just couldn't haul it in. What a good throw from Colandrea.
Fantastic. It's a great throw. Just drops it in the bucket in the end zone. Wood couldn't quite secure it. As he goes to the ground. Oh, it pops out. As my old coach used to say, you could have been a hero.
But Kelsey, to your point, following up, you're so right. And I think ending that conversation with Tony Elliott today, he can relate to the guys like I think a lot of adults maybe are not able to. He was like, yes, it's a very tough and difficult situation, but these guys have been able to bounce back. They're showing life. And he goes, I told my coaches, get out of the way. Don't kill their vibe. They are feeding from this, and they are going to be better for this.
You're exactly right. And the other thing that I thought was so interesting, it's not just the players talking about the energy that they have at practice and how year 2 has felt like they've really bought in and they're growing on that, but it's also when you talk to these coaches, the way that their coordinators light up when we mention certain players, you can just tell that there is a ton of excitement about the potential that this team has and what they're looking to build here at Virginia. I mean, this is just year 2 under Tony Elliott and this staff, but there's a lot of excitement about what the future holds.
Kelsey, you and I were here last year for the spring game, saw them during the season. The look in the eye is different in terms of what they expect to put on the field this fall.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And you can tell from the players, and when they talk about the buy-in that they have, you can tell from the coordinators as well when you talk about the response that they've seen.
How about the hitting, Kelsey?
And how about the hitting in the spring game, Roddy and John?
Laying the wood.
Go.
Ethan Davies just got blown up.
That's a good, clean hit. Addy Burrow laying the wood. And it's exactly what you teach now. Get the head out, all shoulder. We're going to get a timeout.
First charge timeout, team white.
So a timeout on the field. Offense staying on the field on 4th and 8. We will take this timeout with them. A big 4th down when we come back. Three more games highlight our spring football schedule on ACC Network Extra next week. Starts with Syracuse and Louisville on Friday at 7 Eastern. Then Duke's spring game will be at 1 Eastern on Saturday. ACC Network Extra is ACC Network's complimentary streaming platform, accessible through ESPN app on your smartphone, tablet, connected streaming device, or go to ESPN.com/watch. So they decided not to go for it on 4th down, punted it away, but the blue team has just got the ball back. Kelly has recovered the fumble.
Cameron Kelly, Johnny on the spot there. Does it hit a white player? Ball was live. Jumped on it. You always want your guys to get away. It looked like it hit, it was Addy Burrow on the back. Number 30, Cameron Kelly recovers it. Those are the parts of the spring game that are going to be a little frustrating for a head coach, because you've had a turnover on a kickoff and now on a punt. And while you may not have the usual guys out there, that's blocking and tackling stuff.
So blue will start with great field position. Colandrea, touchdown. Jaden Gibson, the freshman, hauls it in for the touchdown grab.
And Jaden Gibson really didn't have a choice but to catch that ball. I mean, that was like put right in the crook of his elbow by Anthony Colandrea. Watch this throw by the freshman. Gonna come on the back line and boom, right between the numbers, over the defender.
How did he get it through that window?
I have no idea. It's one of those where as a receiver, you have to anticipate and almost play it as if there's a clear window, because you have no idea if it's going to hit one of those hands along the way. But Jaden Gibson has had a fantastic spring.
Offense stays on the field. They're going for 2. Colandrea, pressure, throws it up, and they're going to say no throw. He was touched first for the sack by Braden Sheffer.
Blue team taking advantage of the turnover by the Whites.
So the blue team takes a 19-14 lead, 25 seconds to play in this third quarter. How about the day for Mike Hollins?
An incredibly emotional one from the start, as you can imagine. But once they started playing ball and he started toting the rock, he has looked fantastic. Double-digit carries, scored a touchdown, but he's been quick, he's been elusive. You've seen him run with power, seen him run with passion. Almost got in the end zone here. And then later on, the plunge in the end zone, you can tell how much it meant to him.
Mike Hollins, looks like his day might be done, but man, did he go to work for this spring game. He has been so explosive on the field, showing everybody he put in the work. He wanted to get back on the field and show. Just because of the tragedy, you can overcome it. And man, has he been an inspiration, not just for this football team, this entire university. Really anyone watch. I mean, I'm telling you, I had something prepared to say. I had this game weeks ago. I was preparing, what I'm going to say to really do it justice. And then when you get on the field, you feel the emotions. You see everybody out there giving each other hugs, the sadness, just the realness of the moment. You just got to kind of, I changed everything I was going to say.
Think of the roller coaster of emotions that these guys have been on. The elation of being back, then the reality of the situation.
Malik Washington with a good return, crossing the 40, eventually brought down at the 35-yard line. Malik Washington, an explosive return on special teams.
He has been an excellent addition to this team, and the impact that he's had, both from a on the field and off the field standpoint, has been tremendous.
That is the end of the third quarter here at Scott Stadium. Washington bouncing off defenders, getting to the left side. What a return for the white team. They will have the ball when we come back. Getting set for the start of the fourth quarter here at the Virginia spring game. The blue team with a 19-14 lead. John Schriffen, Roddy Jones, Kelsey Riggs on the call. Pleased to be joined now by defensive coordinator John Rudzinski. Coach, we got to highlight the guys on D, and I know that's what you're about to do. Who has stood out for you today so far?
Yeah, I think Cohen King has done a really nice job all spring. Again, today he showed up. You know, I tell you what, he's got a tremendous story. Walked on here at the University of Virginia, and you know, he was so excited about his opportunity to come here, earned a scholarship, and has been a guy that's played multiple spots for us on defense. Has played some corner here this spring, and you know, started at safety. I mean, what a great story. He exemplifies what we want to accomplish with the young men here at the University of Virginia.
Certainly does, and you've got a lot of experience coming back on this team, but there's a big hole in the middle of that defense with the departure of Nick Jackson. But James Jackson, and talking to you yesterday, what have you thought about the spring that he has had taking over that middle linebacker spot?
I'll tell you what, James is unbelievable. I mean, he jumped into that role, which was really neat to see. You know, got into the Commerce School here. You know, I tell you what, he excels in all those areas, and so he's done a really nice job leadership-wise. He's done a nice job as far as showing he'll be super, super productive.
Okay, I know we were going to talk D, but Jack Greasy just bit off a 35-yard touchdown run When you're scheming and you see a guy like Greasy, what does he provide the offense, what you've seen so far this spring?
Well, I tell you what, we don't want to let him run the ball. I don't know what we're doing over there. I got to get somebody going. If we're giving up 35-yard runs, it's not good defense. I don't care who we got over there. We got Barry Sanders over there. We're not giving up 35-yard runs. But, no, it's been, I tell you what, it's been super competitive all spring. And, I tell you what, both sides have made each other better. Just like, kind of the emotions that were part of being today, guys ended up, really embracing each other and made each other better. And that's what we did against the offense this spring.
They have definitely done that, Coach. And, yeah, we're lucky to keep you on the headset there. I know you wanted to run over there and coach him up during that touchdown play. I also want to talk to you, though, about year 1 to year 2 and what the difference is, because I loved the analogy you gave us yesterday and kind of what it's like with this and with marriage.
Oh, well, like any relationship, the longer that you're with somebody, the better you can communicate. And it's no different than with my wife and I. After a few years, you kind of speak the same language. When you're trying to, pick colors for a baby's room, or, you're trying to make a decision, you got to understand which way you're speaking. And it's the same thing for us as a defensive staff. We really have, taken strides as far as being better communicators with each other, at the same time being able to really be disciplined with the way that we communicate schematically. I tell you what, that's the challenge, is continue to build, continue to get better every day, and that's in all relationships.
Coach, I'm just impressed that you had a say of what color the baby's room is going to be.
Well, I learned this. I'll tell you what, my wife told me this, and I have to tell these young guys that are all engaged. It's like, if she asks for your opinion, you make sure you give an opinion, but when she says she likes the other color better, you make sure you agree with the other one.
Exactly.
Listen to these smart guys on this broadcast.
Baby team, number 1.
Coach, I want to ask about the transfer guys that you've got coming in, because you've got a couple of impactful ones. Cameron Kelly comes over from North Carolina, a guy who played a lot of ball. Tavon Kyle has played a lot of ball at Iowa State. What have they added to this group?
Yeah, no, and it was very similar probably to last year. The advantage this year is that we got a few guys that could spend the spring with us. Tavon, he just brings, you talk about energy and juice. He'd have liked not to give up that big one in the first series, but, just as a young man that, is in graduate school here and doing all the little things right that'll allow him to have a really, really productive grad year. Same thing with Cam Kelly, coming from Virginia Beach, Oscar Smith High School, and, young man that, again, he bleeds here for this state, and it's exciting to have him back in the state and see what he can accomplish this fall.
A guy who's impressed me, Cam Butler, another one of those transfers, a MAC guy from Miami of Ohio. He's been getting after the quarterback today.
Yeah, he's done a nice job. He did a nice job last season, has done a nice job all spring, and again, I think as these guys get into the system, they stay in the system, it gives them a chance to, really, really, really get better as the spring expands.
How about a guy like Jameer Carter? I know you have so many leaders, but what does he mean to this team?
Yeah, I mean, he's the heart and soul, and if we're going to be good on defense, we got to be great up front. He's a guy that plays with great pad level. I tell you what, he owns the weight room, and he's the guy that you'll see flying over piles. I mean, it's when we turn him loose, I mean, you truly turn him loose, and he's a guy that shows up on film each and every week where he'll go make a bunch of plays.
In talking to you yesterday, there were a couple of guys that you lit up talking about. Ben Smiley, Michael Diatta were two of them. What have you seen from their performances this spring, and how do you think the position change for Smiley can help, and also Diatta's performance?
Yeah, and again, it's a testament to Chris Slade. It's a testament to Kevin Downing. I mean, they've done a great job as far as mentoring them, bringing them along, and the young men too have worked, and they're workers, and they appreciate the process of getting themselves better. They both, again, have really nice skill sets as far as using their hands, great athleticism, and then after they've been here in a few years in Coach Smotherman's program, they've done a really nice job as far as changing their bodies as well.
We've been talking to defensive coordinator John Rosinski. Coach, really appreciate you spending some time with us here in the spring game.
Well, appreciate you having me, guys. Go Hoos.
All right. Thank you so much. That was Grady Brosterhouse ripping off a 59-yard run at the quarterback position.
What did Des Kitchens call him? Taysom Hill? This looked like Taysom Hill. Big man rolling when he got into the open field. I mean, look, the DBs can't catch him. How about the athleticism by Brosterhouse?
Guys, you're talking about nicknames. Isn't that the nickname that we heard Tom Grady, they said the guys call him. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you are so right.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
I didn't do it. The players did it. I just followed their suit.
Well, I'm going to have to push back on that nickname. I have never seen Tom Brady move that fast outside of a car in his entire life.
Fair point, Roddy. Fair point.
Do we have to add his name now into this quarterback battle? I mean, there's so many names right now competing for the starting spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably only 3 deep right now, and really the main 2 being Muskett and Jay Woolfolk. But without seeing Woolfolk, I think you've seen the depth that this quarterback room has, and that's something that they missed last year. They didn't have Jay Woolfolk at all during the spring. So it was really Brennan Armstrong. You didn't feel great about anybody behind him. Woolfolk obviously showed flashes, but had a lot of catching up to do in terms of the offense.
Xavier Brown on the ground. He'll be tackled after a gain of 6. Talking about Jay Woolfolk, when we talked with head coach Tony Elliott earlier, he said playing college baseball right now, not being with us for most of the spring, will not hurt him in terms of being in the running to be the starting quarterback.
And we've seen guys do it in the past. Kyle Parker was a great outfielder, first-round pick in baseball, and then played football as well. Russell Wilson obviously dipped in both. Jameis Winston, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, and then moonlighted as a baseball player. When you throw 95, you just roll him out there and let him play. But Jay Woolfolk has the potential to be on a list of guys that could start for their college football team and play baseball. He's a really good closer, really good reliever for this Virginia team.
Now, unlike this past spring, he has spent time with the team this spring when he can. He's on a 40-throw kind of a pitch count, if you will, for football.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. When he's not, though, throwing, he is with Tony Elliott, walking through the plays, mentally trying to prepare himself. So he's still involved with this football team, even though he's playing baseball right now.
It's tremendous testament to that young man and his aptitude, because Virginia's a hard place to do school as well, and he's doing that too, but excelling on the baseball field while staying a part of this football team.
Guys, the other thing that I thought was really interesting when we were talking to the coaches about this is you listen to the conversations that they have to have every week, and it sounds like a very long text message chain back and forth between Tony Elliott and Coach O'Connor and so many others as they try to navigate this schedule as he's in baseball season right now. The baseball team playing tonight at 6, so he's not here with the football team, but they've certainly liked having him around, and they said it just depends. You mentioned those 40 throws. He's also got 20 hours a week, so all of a sudden, if baseball has an off day, they've got a shift, and it seemed, I don't know how you guys felt, it seems like genuine excitement from these coaches as well, that he has the ability to do everything he's doing here at Virginia.
Yeah, and we saw number 50 Major League Baseball prospect by D1 Baseball. That's for next year's baseball draft, that 2024 draft, where he'll be draft eligible. But that is high praise for a guy who doesn't dedicate the amount of time that a normal baseball player does at this level. A guy that can touch 96 to 97 at times, sits in the low 90s. He's got a great slider as well. So there's just an excellent skill set there that Jay Woolfolk has on the baseball field. And on the football field, I mean, Taylor Lamb told us he's probably the hardest guy to tackle on the team with his shiftiness and ability to make people miss in small spaces.
Doesn't it kind of represent what the University of Virginia is all about?
Absolutely.
You come here to have opportunities for your life. Yep. And this football staff wants the best for Jay Woolfolk, whether it be baseball, football, whatever his dreams desire. That's why so many students come here to make their dreams come true.
And it's harder for Brian O'Connor. It's harder for Tony Elliott, but these are two coaches that are about developing young men, and so they go through the effort as well.
Also, guys, let it be said that he might not just be the hardest one on the team to tackle. He says he's the fastest as well. So he's not here to defend himself. Nobody can refute that right now. But he says the fastest with the ball in his hand, he would take that title.
Field goal no good by Vaden Brio. And he was unequivocally confident about it. He was like, there's no
especially
doubt.
on the baseball side, right?
Yeah, the coaches were a little more hesitant about placing that upon him. But baseball team's got a couple fast guys, too. It's a big series for both teams, especially for Florida State. They've gotten off to a rough start.
Some more big hitting. Shoulders popping. A gain of 5 for Demeek Starling.
Yeah, sorry, John. We haven't talked a lot about Demeek Starling, but he is the most experienced receiver that they have coming back from a group that loses its top 4 pass catchers from a year ago. Demeek Starling He's certainly going to be a part of this this offense.
There's no mistaking Jack Greasy when he touches the ball. He just looks different than everybody else when he's running with it.
I mean, if you ever, I'm sure you were a big X-Men guy, right?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, you remember when the Juggernaut got going and he started pounding through walls? Like, that's Jack Greasy. To see him get the football, it's like he's about to break through a wall. Saw the speed, though, too. I mean, he took off when he got in the open field.
Speed, power, they'll make you feel him. He gets another touch here over the right side of that line, gets to the edge, eventually brought down. But to your point, even getting to that outside, be able to turn that corner as Tavon Kyle brings him down.
That's why I say I think there's going to be a play, whether it's short yardage. There's situations where Jack Greasy is going to be able to help a really deep running back room. We haven't seen a lot of Kobe Pace. We saw some of him early, but he's been a little banged up over the course of the spring, so it looks like he got shut down earlier than the others. But I mean, this is a group that really goes 6 deep. Cody Brown's going to play. Paris Jones, Kobe Pace, Mike Hollins, Jack Greasy, and Xavier Brown. It's a freshman a year ago that they really liked, developed really well over the course of the year. There's going to be a place for him as well.
2nd and 7, back to the ground. A penalty flag is down, indicating offsides against the defense.
Offside. Defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
You know, John, it's been interesting today seeing sort of what Tony Elliott had told us yesterday, that the advantage has really been on the offensive side more this spring because of the number of guys that they have out on defense. I mean, guys that are really going to play a big part. Chico Bennett not being in there. Jonas Sanker, a guy who played a ton for them last year, not in there as well. And Aaron Falmouy, who's been around and been productive for a long time. He's one of the best interior defensive linemen in the ACC. It would certainly be a big help to this defense.
With Davis Lane in at quarterback, they continue to pound the ball on the ground and move those chains. That is another 1st down for the white team. We are going to step aside here at Virginia. 6 minutes to play here in this 4th quarter. We'll be back after this quick commercial break. Thanks for joining us here for this Virginia spring game. John Schrippen, Roddy Jones, Kelsey Riggs. We've seen some big plays already today, Roddy.
Certainly have. J.R. Wilson had the big catch early on a great throw from Tony Muskett. Obviously, the Mike Hollins story, him plunging into the end zone. What an emotional moment that must have been. He's had a nice performance today. Seen some defensive plays as well. It's kind of exactly what you want. The offenses want some, defenses want some, and then Anthony Colandrea doing a nice job threading it in the back of the end zone. And then this guy, Jack Greasy, might end up being the star of the day. As we've got Coach Tony Elliott with it. Coach, we got to start with Jack Greasy. I mean, he has taken over the 2nd half with his old school running style.
That's right, AKA greaseball. Look at him. He's got his shoulder strapped up, left shoulder. He's number 34, makes the cut on the outside zone.
Ooh.
High D through the hole. Hey, don't sleep on my man Greaseball. Now that's why we said that the running back room is one of the most competitive groups that we got on the team.
All right, he just picks up 9 yards there.
Yep.
Where do you see him fitting into this offense?
You know, he's a guy that's going to give us very valuable reps. You know, down the stretch in the running back position. You better have him lined up, and we got some really talented guys, and he's a young guy, so he's just getting started. So I'm excited to see him be able to finish some games for us and continue to progress, and hopefully by midseason he'll be a rotational guy.
So, Coach, obviously coming in, we evaluate based on touchdowns, all that stuff. What have you seen today from your team?
First, just competition. You know, guys are having fun competing. They're hitting. The physicality piece, that's one of our core values and non-negotiables. You know, I've liked the operation for the most part on the offensive side of the ball. There haven't been a ton of procedure issues. Obviously have a couple penalties on the defensive side from lining up offside, but watching the quarterbacks be able to make plays from the pocket and then also extend plays and make plays down the field, you get to see them run a little bit. So just getting to see a lot of different things. Obviously special teams, we've had some snafus, but some of those issues we don't have the time in spring ball to really address them.
Coach, you've gotten to see the weather, too, which is something that you don't always see in the spring because you have the option to kind of get away from it. And obviously there's some things to clean up, but that's got to be good to even see some of these guys in some of those situations when the weather starts changing.
No question. With only 15 practices and only 3 live scrimmages and everything else is regulated, you don't really practice wet ball because you're just trying to make sure that you get good work. So it's good to see those guys kind of persevere through that. The weather changed. It got hot, then it rained and cooled off, then it heated back up. So it's good to see them in adverse situations and see how they respond.
You know, we're all cheering for Mike Hollins, an incredible comeback story. It was incredible to see him get in the end zone. What was that moment like for you to see him score that touchdown?
Oh, it's awesome. Just as I've said, and I'll continue to say, he's an inspiration to me every single day that he shows up with a smile on his face, with the right attitude. And it's pretty cool because his brother Deuce has been with us all week, so I brought him out on the field so he could see his brother score from the field, and I told him to go celebrate him. So that's just a moment that hopefully those two will remember forever.
Yeah, it certainly is. What an awesome moment. Coach, as we wrap this up, this is the 15th of 15 practices. What are your goals and what are your priorities in the summer into fall camp?
Yeah, so we talk about the analogy of building the house, and so the foundational phase ends when spring ball and the semester ends, and then they go into the construction. So it's just the players, the strength coaches, the nutrition staff, and sports medicine that are going to be working together because the coaches are out of it. So I want to challenge these guys to build upon the foundation that we have, but make sure that you become a craftsman, master of your craft. You do it with detail. Make sure you're 90 degrees or 90 degrees. So just really carry the momentum so that they can build the house that we're going to live in come the season time.
And Coach, you're building that foundation, and obviously the continuity that you have back at so many of these positions helps, but also the staff that you have brought back. Year 2 for you. I know it's been different the last 5 months, but when we talked to you this time last year, it was like Zoom after Zoom. You were trying to get your feet under you. What does it feel like to be here in year 2 with the staff and the guys you have around you?
You know, you're starting to see just the battle rhythm take place, which means now we can really, the things that we need to address, from the details of coaching the positions to scheme to just all those things. Where in year 1, when we were here last year, man, I'm trying to teach the culture. I'm trying to, get everybody acclimated. I'm trying to teach the discipline, the core values, trying to teach offense, defense, special teams. So everything was just flying around. But now what you're starting to see is everybody kind of understands the direction that we're going. And now we can develop a battle rhythm, which allows us to really lock in on the details of all aspects of our program.
All right, Coach, we got to dig into this schedule a little bit because you start off with a tough one. On the road at Tennessee, you come home for James Madison, then at Maryland. How much have you scouted for those teams already, and walk us through this schedule?
Yeah, we've scouted a little bit. Really been focusing this spring on on what we're doing. But at the end of the day, if you want to be a team that contends and competes for championships, then you got to play championship caliber games, and that's why I'm excited about the opportunity out the gate with the awesome season that Tennessee had. We'll do a lot more scouting now that spring ball is over. So really the focus has been a little bit on the front end on our schedule, then lock in on us during spring ball, and then now as the coaches go on the road, some of our support personnel will really start breaking down and diving in now that we also have some more data from their spring games as well.
That was Davis Lane, the quarterback, with a 35-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, some of the defensive guys probably could have gotten there, pulled
probably
could have gotten there,
but Yeah, they're gonna be mad because I'm talking to y'all and I wasn't over there to tell the refs to, hey, blow the whistle right there. So I'm gonna hear it after the game. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Coach, you are no stranger to starting off with big games like the one that you have, as opposed to starting against Northeast West Central State.
That's right.
How does that change the focus over the course of the summer when you have a team like Tennessee looming?
No question. That's a great question, actually. So what I'm hoping to establish is that we set a standard and we don't worry about who we're playing in the first game, that we perform to a standard. But again, I got a young program, so teaching them that, hey, after we learn and understand what it takes to prepare for this game, then that has to be the standard every other year after that, because it doesn't really matter who you play, because anybody on any given day can beat anybody in college football. So you got to prepare like every single game is that championship moment.
Coach, we're about 3 minutes away from the end of this game, and you will huddle up with your team. I got to hear you speak to them after your last spring game last year and had some strong messages for them about the expectations that you have. What will you say to them after this one?
First, I'm going to tell them I love them. Just how much I appreciate them and thankful for them and, how they've inspired me to continue to get up every day and be around them and really challenge them to build upon the momentum that we were able to create this spring. Still to understand what the expectations are, for our program, and really to make sure that they maximize every single day. Finish in the classroom, because that's going to be a great indicator of where we're going to be when we start in the summer, of how we finish in the classroom these next couple weeks.
You know, something we haven't talked about much today, the fans.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the stadium, and the fans watching at home. What message do you have for Cavaliers fans and what to expect for this football team this season?
We're just very, very thankful and grateful for their investment in us and during a tough time last year, and let them know that, hey, we're in this thing together. There's going to be times where this football team is going to have to lean on them for some encouragement, and then there's going to be times that they're going to draw their strength and encouragement from us on the field as we move forward, because we're all in this thing together. It's not just the football team that's impacted. The University of Virginia, the athletic department, the communities outside of here, back home where those 3 young men are from. So we all got to band together and hold each other up as we go forward.
Coach, I believe the transfer portal opened maybe even during this game, but it opens today. So the evaluation period that you now have for your coaches, how will you guys attack, obviously, the places that you told us earlier that you're going to try and focus?
Obviously, we'll have some folks in-house scouting the transfer portal daily to see who enters. Then we'll have them do some background work, pass that on to the coaches. And then the tough thing about this next period is evaluation, so it's not contact. So you cannot see these guys in person unless they come on your campus. So then the challenge will be the ones that we identify, give us a chance to improve our roster. Though we got to work really, really hard to get them on grounds.
We talked non-conference schedule. Can you highlight some of the big games in the ACC schedule that you're really looking forward to?
All of them. We only won 1 game last year in conference, so all of them are big. But right out the gate, we got NC State here at home, so that's going to be a big one. And then really all of them are big, to be honest with you. There's so much competition in the ACC. We learned that last year. Everybody's battling now. The structure is different, so there's no longer divisions. It's a race for the top. You're trying to be in the top 2, so every game is going to be a big one for us.
Coach, we really appreciate all the time and the effort you've given us so far in this show, and really what you've given to these young men. It's been an honor to watch you just guide them through this tragedy. Thank you so much for everything you've done.
Well, no, I appreciate it, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say that it's the Lord above that be the strength, and the collaboration with the staff and these young men, the administration, to hold me up every single day so that I can lead them. But we're all in this thing together, so it's not just me. It's a collection of a bunch of really, really good young men and a really, really good staff.
Keep up the great work. 2:09 to play. Head coach Tony Elliott, thank you so much.
One of the best examples, one of the best people that you're going to find in college football, bar none. And Virginia does a great job of hiring those types of people for their head coaches in all sports. But Tony Elliott certainly has brought the sense that this team is in great hands with him at the helm.
Xavier Brown just bouncing off of tackles there. Gets inside the red zone for the blue team. He says, we're not done hitting yet.
How about the burst? I mean, he accelerated into that hit.
Under 2 minutes to play on this running clock here in this fourth quarter. 1st and goal for the blue squad. Down by 8. Colandrea. He is marked down at the 2.
He also was hit down as well. Defensive guys getting frustrated a little bit.
Colandrea's played the entire game for this blue squad. Done a really nice job as the freshman out of St. Petersburg, Florida. 2nd and goal.
He's played well, as you said, yep.
This one gets handed off to Brown. He is met in the backfield. He's stopped at the 1.
I think all in all, there will be a lot of good to take from this Virginia spring game. And I think Tony Elliott's crew got a lot of good work. We've seen some pieces that can give you some hope that this season will certainly be more positive on the field than the last.
3rd and goal from the 1. Colandrea looking left. It's picked off. John Hurley. No one's gonna get him. Hurley being chased down from behind in the end zone. A 98-yard pick 6. What a way to cap off the day for the white squad.
supposed to be just an easy toss to the flat to the running back. It gets tipped at the line of scrimmage, and then it is off to the races for John Hurley. I don't know what he's doing there, shutting it down. No, young fella, get all the way to the end zone. Good for Ethan Davies, making him work the whole time, making him run. That type of effort, you love to see it, but what a play for the white team.
John Hurley, the sophomore from Vienna, Virginia, with the exclamation point for the white team. We'll bet Ridge on for the extra point. His kick is up and good.
That was huge. I mean, Blue had an opportunity. Down, what were they down? Eight. With an opportunity to tie the ball game up. Driving, some great plays down the end zone, then a pick six. Big swing to some people.
White team has scored 20 unanswered points. They've all come here in this fourth quarter. The biggest, John Hurley. How about it?
You can see the elation on his teammates' faces. Des Kitchings telling them good job. Guys patting him on the back. But it's the tip at the line of scrimmage by Addy Burrow that makes this. And then Hurley thought about shutting it down, thought about slowing down, then sped back up. Got in the end zone. Big swing for the white team.
Sometimes spring football games, you never know what to expect in terms of the quality of play. We've seen a very high level of play and guys bringing out the best in each other today.
That's a great point by you, because we've done a ton of spring games over the years. Some of them can feel like a drag. Some of them can feel very blah. Some of them can feel like guys don't want to be there. This has been fun. It looks like the guys on the field have had fun. The energy from the coaches has been fun. They can get stale, but this feels very fresh. It feels very much like everyone wants to be here and appreciates the opportunity.
Brown is chopped down at the 15-yard line. Let's go down to Kelsey, who has the star for the white team.
Yeah, that's right. Standing here with Hurley right now. He's still catching his breath. Tell me what you saw, and you had to look to the sidelines to make sure that was your moment, right?
Man, yeah, a few weeks ago in practice, I caught a ball, and I got yelled at for running it back. So this time I made it make sure. I was looking at the sideline to see if I could keep going, but that's it.
Spring game, you had to take it all the way in. This one wrapping up right now. What did it mean to be back out here with your team?
Oh, man, I was hurt all fall, so it's fun to be back on the field. I love it.
Awesome. Congratulations. Go and celebrate with them. Guys, this one just now wrapping up.
All right, Kelsey, our final from the Virginia spring game, the white team with a 34-19 win over the blue squad. 20 unanswered points here in this fourth quarter. The white team getting it done.
Yeah, they absolutely were, man. But as much as it's about keeping score and having fun, it was great to see this Virginia crew take the field again. The resilience that they've shown has been tremendous. The example that they've shown has been exemplary. And look, this is a team that had a tough season a year ago, and they may have a tough season this upcoming year, but if they get some pieces to develop a little bit, then I think there's a lot of room for optimism for Virginia.
One of the pieces that we saw develop in that second half, Jack Greasy, who's standing by with Kelsey.
That's right. You guys have had some great things to say about this guy and the performance we saw from him today. 2 touchdowns. You're from just a couple hours away to come out in this game and play like that, just in a spring game still, but to show what you can do. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I mean, all throughout spring, I was just trying to get better and better, you know. Running back's really deep. We have one of the best running back groups in the nation, and trying to get reps is difficult, so taking mental reps during practice and just trying my hardest to get on the field and taking advantage when I get on the field. That's what it means to me, really.
You definitely took advantage of it today, and we've talked a lot about what it means to you and your teammates to be back out here today. Can you take us through, for you personally, being from Virginia, what it means to be a part of this program and moving forward?
It means a lot. My parents went here, and they were graduates here, and the Virginia community is so strong, and I just feel like it's such a tight-knit group, and it just means a lot coming back on the field after what happened in November. And it's very emotional. That's when we were just like locking arms. A few tears might have came out, but it means a lot.
Well, we're going to get to see that Virginia community again right now. I know they're coming down to celebrate with you guys and to say hello. Jack, congratulations. We look forward to seeing what you're doing in the future.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
All right, Kelsey, Tony Elliott said, if Jack Greasy continues to do what he's doing, improving, showing this coaching staff that he can contribute mid-season, he said, you never know, he could be part of the rotation.
He's got a different running style, different body than the rest of those backs. So you could certainly see him carving out a niche as a short yardage guy. And he could end up being a finisher. I mean, you saw him at the end of this game. His ability to punish defenders was tremendous.
I think the thing I've enjoyed the most about today, the guys have been able to have fun.
Yeah.
Enjoy this moment, all the things they've been through over the past 5 months, to be able to be out there with their friends, celebrate in front of fans for the first time since the tragedy. I think it's been an exciting moment for everyone.
Yeah, it certainly has been. And then in terms of the on-the-field product, after last year and the struggles they had on the offensive line, and as a result of that, the struggles that they had at the quarterback position, it was really nice to see an operation that looked like it was going to be a functional one come the fall, when they get all their offensive linemen on the same page and all together. Then from a quarterback, we didn't see much of Tony Muskett, but Anthony Colandrea was really impressive, especially for a freshman.
And I think something to remember, which you've brought up multiple times, a lot of guys who are out on defense who we did not see, who will be key players, starters on defense. So this defense you saw today might look completely different at the start of the season.
And it was a defense last year that gave North Carolina a lot of trouble late in the year. That Pitt game kind of got away from them, so it ended up being a little bit more skewed than I think it was. But this is a defense that really shows a lot of promise once they get all their pieces.
Mike Hollins getting into the end zone for Virginia. His comeback complete with his younger brother running behind him. I mean, that's a memory a lot of people will remember forever from this game.
I certainly will. Mike Hollins certainly will, his family. What an emotional day, but a fun spring game full of gratitude.
Wow, it was a pleasure and an honor to be a part of this one. For my partners, Roddy Jones, Kelsey Riggs, I'm John Triffin. Final score today, White wins it 34-19.